I'm Savannah, and in today's video I'll be sharing with you something that I really love to share, and that is healing work, healing magic. And today specifically we'll be doing a healing spell with a Poppet, or commonly known as a Voodoo Doll. And I don't like calling him a Voodoo Doll because Voodoo is a religion, in case you didn't know. I was surprised. I was having dinner with a group of friends from Texas this week, and I was surprised to hear that they hadn't even heard of hoodoo, and that they thought it was voodoo and that it's all evil. And it's really not the case at all. So I'm not going to get into that in this video, but if that is also new to you, really look up the differences between the two, because voodoo is a religion. Hoodoo is a magical practice. But remember, these types of dolls have been constructed around the world in every culture since the beginning of time. Different ways to construct the doll, but it doesn't belong to any one culture, religion, or magical practice, believe me. So who cares about all of that? The most important thing is that we need to do something to heal a friend or a family member or someone that you care about from a specific ailment. And in this video, I'll be going through how to help someone recover from a surgery. Now, I just wanted to give a little bit of an intro before I go over into the light and share with you how to do this, because the way I'm conducting this spell isn't typical of any magical system. And the reason why is because I'm doing a fusion of a couple of different things that I like to do for healing work. And I just want to say that you do not have to do all of these things to have success. I'm only doing it because I like to do it. So what am I talking about here? Well, of course, we're talking about the construction of a doll. And yes, I'll be demonstrating with one of these little fabric dolls, but over the years, you've seen me use lots of different types of things for the construction of these dolls. Everything from fruit and vegetables. I love using the Play-Doh, plasticine, that's really good as well. But these are just, oh, and I've also made my own doll. You've seen my little servitor style doll where it's a cutout and you're actually stitching it up yourself. I like doing those types of dolls, especially when it comes to something you're really passionate about or vengeful, or for example, if I'm making my own little servitor doll, with every stitch you're putting in that intention. But in reality, of course, you could do that with a health doll as well, if you've got the time. A lot of us here are time poor, and so I'm observant of that, and so we'll be demonstrating with just one of these little fabric dolls. Now you'll see lots of different things in this video, such as my servitor doll. So my servitor doll is basically a mirror of me. And so when I'm not there, I like the servitor doll standing there and pushing that spell energy into the target as well, looking after that person when I'm not there to look after them. That's one idea with that doll. The other thing you'll see is candle magic. So I'm using the energy of the flame and the candle to help infuse healing energy into the target. Into the candle, I'm using sigils of a specific spirit that I'm connecting with to help and request healing. This specific healing spirit or demon is Beur, B-U-E-R. And it is a spirit that I always work with, or work with a lot for healing work. I feel this spirit is very responsive. You'll also see me use crystals, crystal magic, the healing properties of crystals. So carefully chosen crystals to help for a specific purpose. Something you don't have to do, but you'll see me do a lot, is pranic healing. So you'll see me cleaning the energy before I actually begin infusing this Poppet with the chant of the spell. And then we get into the chant for this specific spell. Now you could use whatever witchcraft chant you like. You're going to write a petition, which is different to the chant. The petition might be, I want person's name, to be healed from terminal cancer, and what other symbols you want to put on that petition, or whatever details you could also put on there. That's totally okay. But the chant I'm using is based in my Kundalini practices, these mantra. And so I'll be calling down for the universal source of all healing via sound. So I'll be saying a specific mantra that is very, probably one of the best for distant healing. Now in the video, you'll see me hold the poppet on my left hand while I'll say the chant. What you can't see is that I'm actually holding out both hands. My wrists are bent, okay, and my eyes are closed, and I'm saying Ramadasa Sase Sohang. And I'm saying that probably for around 10 minutes. Other times, for example, if I'm sitting in a space like this where I'm feeling quite relaxed, I might continue it for a little bit longer. You'll feel really good when you're saying it. Like this universal charge, if you want. It doesn't care about culture. It doesn't care about anything else. It's not judging you. You're calling to this energy and you're asking to be blessed with the benefits of this frequency, this sound. So give it a go. Otherwise, when I'm saying this, you would use in place your own spell or chant. The other modification that you may notice that I jump over quite fast is the baptism or the consecration of the doll. There's so many different ways to do this, and it's really based on your system. So if you're on the witchcraft path, then it's natural that you're going to be blessing this doll via all of the elements. And so just continue doing that. But if you're on the hoodoo path, you might give it a proper naming and a baptism, if that feels right for you. So where I'm going to put a note on the video, if this is part of your system, that's what you would do then at that point in time. I don't use Christian prayers in my practices. So for this video, as discussed, we are going to use a fabric doll, pre-made doll, to demonstrate how to create a healing doll for somebody in your life who is sick. What you need to do is make it in the like image of the person that is sick. So in this case, this is a friend of mine who's having a brain operation. All of these features of this doll, to me, represent her. Everything from the way she has her little false eyelashes put on, to the little silver bead she sometimes wears in the middle of her forehead, the little e-cigarette she smokes, the little crystal ball. She's a tarot reader, and she likes to wear lots of long style sarongs or long style shawls with lots of embellishments on them. So this really represents the person that I will be focusing on today. And on the back, I have her name. You could put her date of birth. You could put other symbols or things on that would represent the person that you're actually talking about as well. So remember, we're doing this to bring a speedy recovery to the person that is sick. And so once you have actually dressed up this doll, you could baptize the doll. But if you just wanted to do it simple, say it's an emergency situation, you really had to get on with this. So to christen the poppet, to bring the poppet alive, what you do is you put it over the smoke and you say, I now baptize you, poppet, and call you the person's name. Whatever I tell you to do, you will do. You will obey my command until the time I set you free, so mote it be. I'm going to teach you something that's not hoodoo and not witchcraft, and this is specifically for someone that is sick, and that is to use pranic healing on them. Now, pranic healing or Reiki is removing the toxic layers from the person's aura, the black and the brown, the sluggish energy that's going to prevent them from healing. And we're going to try and infuse their body or their aura with white or gold energy. And to do that, what we do is we hold the poppet in the hand. And remember, by this stage, this person is now the person that you're trying to heal. And what you do is you focus, you close your eyes, and you think about a gigantic white ball of energy above your head. And this is source energy. And you'll ask that energy for the power to heal. What you'll do first, holding the person in your left hand, the first thing you're going to do is scrape away some of the negative energy. And when we scrape away this negative energy, we'll be scraping it off and throwing it into an invisible salt bucket. Now, if you have a little tub of water with salt in it next to you, that's really good too. But if you're great with visualization, you can just imagine flicking it off and it going into a virtual salt bucket. And to keep this quite simple, what we're going to do is we're just going to pretend that we're scraping off a layer of dirt from this person's aura. So scrape, 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 and then flick it into our salt bucket. And then go to the left side, scrape, scrape, scrape. Flick it into the bucket. Scrape, scrape, scrape. And then we go around the outside of their body. We're picturing all that dirt we're scraping away. Scraping it away, and turn the person over. Do the same on the back. Scrape, scrape, scrape. Scrape, scrape, scrape. Okay, and then if you know that person has like a particular injury, like this person's having the brain operation, I might spend a little bit of time just scraping around that head, because you know that they've got a lot of build up, a lot of dark energy, a lot of toxicity in their aura around that. And so we really want to keep removing all that toxicity. So whatever healing we're about to put onto them, whatever spell, is actually going to be able to go through their aura and hit their bodies much faster. Okay, so now we have a lovely clean person. What do we do next? Well, the next thing we do is that we shake, or we can wash your hands. You know, make sure you wash all that toxicity off your hands. So whether that's by smoke, it's probably better that you go and wash it in salty water or hand soap. And then holding that person in your hand, you're going to call out and imagine that light coming into your body again, okay? And it's coming in through the top of your head, down along your arm, okay? It's coming down along your arm and coming out of the palm of your hand. And then what you'll do, you'll pitch that light as blue healing light. So visualization is very good. And then you turn it around and you point that blue light onto that person wherever they're injured. And so I'm pointing the palm of my hand towards her head, and I'm picturing this blue light hitting her brain and healing her brain, infusing that energy into her aura. When you're doing this, if you're learning pranic healing or Reiki, and you're doing this with another person, when they have had enough energy, they actually, even though you're not touching them, you're just applying this energy, this unseen energy, they will actually step backwards when this energy has been powerful enough, or when their body is full, they like to say. And it's quite unbelievable to see. You really have to see it and experience it to believe it. But when you really focus on this, you'll be able to actually feel the energy leaving the palm of your hands. And so you're thinking about the person, the energy is going into their head, or for her a head. Maybe the person you're healing has a different type of issue. And then when you really feel like you've healed them enough, what you do
is that you seal that plug off. Right? Imagine that you're plugging it off because you don't want that healing energy to leak out. Put a block in there, and then they're done. Right? That's it. That is removing all the toxicity and filling it up to help their aura, so they can heal much faster. You just really have to anoint this doll. So I'll put it down here, and you can anoint the doll in any type of healing oil, or maybe you want to use an oil such as, I've made my own homemade oil here, which has a lot of garlic, eucalyptus, mint, aloe. It's got a lot of the great healing herbs. And what you'll do first is call to your spirit guide or your god, goddess, deity, lower, that you're really thinking about to call to ask for help in this case. So because we're from many different disciplines, you think of that person, whoever that's going to be. For me, I'll be using Bure. And so what I'm doing is really focusing on the area of the person that is causing the problem. So in her case, it's her brain. She's having an operation there. So I'm carefully applying this healing oil to the top of her head, and I'm thinking about what I want as a result of applying this oil. I'm also thinking about the properties of the herbs. The garlic is renowned for healing, for protection, for preventative health. Eucalyptus, thinking about the outcome, and so forth. And so if it's all over her body, for example, if someone had a bad car accident, you might want to spread it all over that person. But essentially what she looks like now is on top of her head, she has all that great healing oil. So now comes the spell part. So you might already have a particular spell that you want to use, maybe one that's specific with the lower or this deity that you're using, or if you have another prayer or a little petition that you'd like to say for this person, you're more than welcome now to actually attach that to the person. Where's my petition for her? So I've written a little petition for her as well, and I might want to say the petition a couple of times for her. Now what you want to do is wrap your doll in a white cloth. If you're wondering what she's sitting on a little energy plate. But you might put her on a bed of roses, or you could put your friend on some healing stones or crystals if you like. So here I've got two beautiful white candles. Candles used for healing can be green, could be yellow, but I like to use white candles for the purity of healing. And I'm going to put it either side of my friend. Now engraved into those candles, some people just leave them with nothing. But into the side of the candles, what I'm going to put is my petition. So take a minute to write your petition in the candle while you're in the moment. And if you're working with a specific spirit or spiritual energy, you may wish to actually put their, I'm using Bure because Bure is a spirit from the Goetia, but you can use any type of spirit from any type of system or deity that you actually choose. So that's why it's really important to know your spirits and deity before you actually begin your spell casting. Okay, so that is the sigil of the spirit. I'm going to put that there. I'm going to dress the candles now with healing oils. While I'm doing so, I'm thinking about the outcome. An alternative is that you can roll the candles in an oil or rub oil on them and then roll them in the herb that you like, or glitter if you like. That's one way to dress it. I'm going to burn a little bit of sage for her protection. Also good to know is that if that person is also a practitioner, that you want to really think about putting a protective stone right next to them. So this stone here, tourmaline, this is really good to protect against psychic attack. So as this particular lady with the brain issue, with the brain operation, is also of the craft, then we really want to be able to protect her against psychic attack when she's in surgery and she isn't able to defend herself. So I'm going to put that stone right next to her head. But now would be the time that you're saying the mantra to charge the doll. I will put it in my left hand, and then I will say this chant for around 11 minutes. You will put the petition under one of the candles. Rama dasa sa se sohang. 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 You put her down, light the candles. And essentially you'll sit there and you'll meditate and you'll think about the result, you'll think about your friend, you'll think about the procedure for as long as it takes. And then when you're finished meditating for that day, you might use a candle snuffer to snuff out the candles. You repeat this ritual every single morning until a full recovery is made. And when the recovery is made, what you'll do is you'll go out and you'll actually burn the doll and then scatter the ashes to the wind. So you're not burning the person, but you're releasing this doll and the sickness of this doll and the spirit of this doll. You're releasing it so the person can actually be freed and continue on with their life. So you burn the doll, send the ashes into the wind, and then your spell is complete. And if you follow what I say in this spell, you'll have amazing results. I hope. So if you're on the lighter side of magic, then this is where we say goodbye. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this doll helps you with your healing work, healing of yourself or healing of your loved one. But if you're on the darker path, stay, because I have another tip for what you can do. So there was a southern root worker by the name of Harry Hyatt, and what he suggested you do is make sure that this doll is dropped into the path or onto the path of another individual, so they'll pick it up, and then the toxic energy or the diseases will be transferred over to that person. So what I've done here, because one of the most important aspects of this is to make sure that the individual's name is still on the poppet, I have written the name in the Theban alphabet. So the witch's alphabet, I have written the individual's name. That way, if the doll is picked up, it's not, they can't read the name in the language that you speak. Then you dress the doll in a really pretty way with ribbons. So this little doll
really could do with a little bit of stuffing to make it more attractive. So you don't want to like create an ugly looking doll if you want people to pick it up from the street, do you? Now he suggests that you use lots of brightly colored ribbons, and I've seen these types of dolls made and laying around in the streets with ribbons, with buttons, with little bags. You know, you make them look really nice. I suppose the only dissonance I would have about this is it's probably a child that would be more likely to pick this up. And so I would still say be mindful of where you're dropping it off. I don't like the idea of kids getting sick at all. And so maybe you drop it off at a target's house. Now I have a target that I have in mind, very toxic individual who probably deserves to pick up this doll. And like in most Southern type of cursing magic, you'll be dropping off that doll in front of their premises. So all that type of magic is where the individual lives. You're going to put it in their path. If you're at school and you have someone that's bullying you or something like that, maybe you put that on their desk or somewhere that that bully is going to pick it up. Same as if you're in the office, maybe you put it or throw it on a desk where the bully is from the workplace. And the idea here is that you're going to just be tying a knot. For every illness that you want to get rid of, you're going to be tying a knot. So I suppose it is a little bit like cord magic or knot magic, but you would spend some time just making knots here for every disease or illness you're wanting to remove. So I'm sure if you're doing it at home, it's going to look a little bit better. But this one is ready actually to be launched into the space that I want it launched into. This will be to remove alcoholism and drug addiction from a specific individual, this little doll. And so I'm going to put it on the target's premises, and the idea is that all the toxic energy from this doll or this individual will now be transferred over to the other individual. And so be it. And that's it, really. That's the idea of that style of magic. So that's it for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. And may your spellcasting be auspicious.